Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Ivy English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today we have our monthly vocabulary test, number 1. In order to deal with the rising crime rate in the area, the city government decided to authorize blank measures to put criminals behind bars. To deal with is to try to solve a problem or take care of a problem.Rising crime rate, that means that people's public behavior is getting worse and worse, and we think of serious crime, hurting other people, even killing other people. So, a city government decided to authorize, they're going to give authority to, probably the police, perhaps other groups, what kind of measures to put criminals behind bars. If you put a criminal behind bars, that means...You try them, T-R-Y, in a trial, T-R-I-A-L, and if they are found guilty, they go to jail. They have to stay or even live behind bars because, in effect, they will be living in a cage. Well, what kind of measures would that be? A, loyal, B, mutual, C, brutal, or D, grateful? Well, if you put a person...in a cage for a number of years or sometimes even for life, that is very serious. That is a measure or policy that is extreme. And so the word here I would choose would be C, brutal, meaning that it is very, very serious, maybe even harmful, but it shows that the crime that was committed was unacceptable to society, and the person who committed the crime...has to be separated away from society.
好，我们看到这个句子，他说呢 ，in order to 为了要 deal with 要这个处理或者解决 the rising crime rate 不断上升的犯罪率 in the area 在这个地区，所以为了解决该地区不断上升的犯罪率 ，the city government 就是市政府 decided to 决定要 authorize 就是授权什么东西呢？授权怎么样的 measures 就是措施，那目的是要 put criminals behind bars. Put somebody behind bars 就是审判某人之后把他关起来，关进监狱里面。那个 bars 就是那个监狱的那个栅栏，所以把他关到这栅栏后面，也就是把他关到监狱去。那刚刚 Bruce 老师讲到这个 put somebody behind bars 通常是经过审判的，那个审判就是英文 try 这个字，就是尝试那个字，不过它另外一个意思是审判。所以要用什么样的措施把这些犯罪分子关进监狱呢？ A, loyal 是忠诚的， B, mutual 是相互的，那 brutal 是严厉的，或者你可以说 harsh H-A-R-S-H， 所以 brutal measures 就是 harsh measures， 所以 C 是正确答案的，授权采取严厉的措施。那 D, grateful 是感激的，你不用感激这些罪犯，所以这答案都不对，我们选 C, brutal。Number
2, Nancy desires to blank in the upcoming charity event because she believes it's important to give back to the community and positively impact people's lives. So if you give back to the community, it means you contribute something of what you gained because everybody gets things from the community, and so you should also give back. And to positively impact people's lives means to improve people's lives. The upcoming charity event is what Nancy desires to blank.Now, she desires to blank in the upcoming charity event. And this is the thing that, we can use meaning to figure out which one, and we can also use prepositions. Let's look at meaning first. If you respond to something, it means you say something in return. If you participate in something, it means you go to it. If you struggle with something, you have problems with it. And if you whisper to something, you talk quietly to it. Now, if you notice, I said respond to, participate in,struggle with, and whisper to. Based on that, which one should you choose? Ding, 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 participate in. Nancy desires to participate in the upcoming charity event because she believes it's important to give back to the community and positively impact people's lives.
好，那这个句子我们看到 Nancy desires to， 她很想要干嘛呢？我们要选 participate, B, participate in 就是参加。那她想要参加The upcoming 就是很快要来的，即将到来的 charity event 就是慈善活动。为什么呢？因为 she believes 她认为 it's important to 就做这件事情是很重要的。什么是很重要呢？就是要 give back to the community 回馈社会。所以各位可以学起来 give back to the community， 就是回馈社会。他也认为很重要的事情是要 positively， 要积极的正面的 impact， 就是影响 people's lives， 人们的生活。所以我们选 participate in。 那我们看到其他选项 A respond 是回应，而且它后面通常接的介系词是 to， 所以不对，因为我们题目里面的介系词是 in。 那 C struggle挣扎奋斗，后面常常接的介系词是 with， 所以意义用法都不对。 D whisper 后面常常接 to， 是轻声低语，所以这三个意义跟用法都不对，我们要选 B participate in 就是参加。
Number 3. In spite of valuing their friendship deeply, Susan can't help feeling blank of Jill's achievements and good looks sometimes. So Susan is a friend of Jill, and Jill is just this superwoman who achieves a lot. She has done a lot. She's very successful at what she does. She's also very good looking. So sometimes, even though they're very good friends, Susan can't help feeling how or what. Would it be guilty, humorous, clumsy, or jealous? Well, this is a perfect example of D, jealous. You feel that someone else has something that you don't, and you wish you had it. And sometimes that will give you a bad feeling about that person, but that's wrong. And so jealous is a very negative word. Guilty means you've done something wrong, but that's not, she hasn't done anything. Humorous would be funny, and we're not talking about humor. Clumsy is someone who is not coordinated very well, which means maybe they drop things or break things or run into things, whereas other people can avoid that situation. So definitely here choose jealous. In spite of valuing their friendship deeply, Susan can't help feeling jealous of Jill's achievements and good looks sometimes.
好，所以 in spite of 是尽管，那因为 of 所以后面要接一个动名词或者是一个名词，那在这里是接动名词，所以尽管 valuing 就是重视，他很重视他们的 friendship 友谊，而且是 deeply 就是很深的重视，非常重视的意思，非常珍视他们的友谊。尽管如此 Susan can't help 就是忍不住会 feeling can't help 后面加 VING， 他忍不住会干嘛呢？我们要选的是 feeling jealous 嫉妒，因为他后面讲到是他嫉妒的是 Jill's 他的 achievements 他的成就，还有他的 good looks 他的美貌。那 sometimes 有时候还是会嫉妒的。好，我们看到 A 选项 guilty 是内疚的愧疚的有罪恶感的，不对。 B humorous 是幽默的，不会说 feeling humorous of something， 这英文意义跟用法都不对。这个 C clumsy 是笨拙的，那放在这里当然也讲不通，所以我们要选 D jealous 嫉妒的。
Number 4. After graduating from college, Jason spent all his time on his gardening hobby and eventually turned it into a blank. What did he turn his garden hobby into? A route. A road to somewhere else? Sorry, this is also pronounced route for people who are not born in the Midwestern United States. Career. He turned it into a career. He turned it into something he could make money on in his life. Ooh, good for you. That might be the answer. He turned it into a C, gesture. If you make something a gesture, it means it's sort of empty and useless. It's a thing you did, but it's empty and useless. I hope he didn't turn his gardening hobby into a gesture. And D, strategy. A strategy is like a plan for something. And I mean, it's possible to turn your hobby into a gesture or a strategy, but the most reasonable word here is career, because we're talking about graduating from college, right. So obviously someone's looking for something to make money at the rest of their life. So choose B. After graduating from college, Jason spent all his time on his gardening hobby and eventually turned it into a career.
好，所以 after graduating from college 就是大学毕业之后呢 Jason spent all his time on something. 他把所有的时间花在某件事情上面，所以花在某件事情，什么事情呢？花在他的 gardening hobby 他的园艺的嗜好上面。然后呢 eventually 最后终于怎么样 turned it into 把它转成一个，他把他的园艺嗜好转成了一个什么呢？我们选 B career 事业，把它转成了一个事业。好，那 A route 或者你也可以念 route 就是路线或者是途径，不对。那 C gesture 是手势，你把它变成一个手势，变成一个姿态，都不对。strategy 是策略，把他的园艺嗜好变成一个策略，都讲不通，所以我们要选 B career。
Number 5. The police blank quickly arrived at the scene and started to examine the evidence in order to find out the cause of the accident. Do we want A, inspector, B, emperor, C, professor, or D, mayor. Although these four choices all refer to a person, we're talking about police arriving at a scene. They go to where there was an accident because we find out it's the cause of the accident, probably a car accident. And they're looking around for evidence. They want proof to retell the story, maybe in court, who was guilty, if anyone. So the police who quickly arrive? Well, inspector looks good because this sort of policeman is not the usual kind we think of out on the street with in a uniform and a cap. A police inspector is a professional who works with the police on crime issues, trying to find out what happened. That looks good. A police emperor, there's no collocation like that. A police professor, even a professor of police sounds strange. I wouldn't choose that either. And there is no police mayor, so definitely go back to A, inspector. The police inspector quickly arrived at the scene and started to examine the evidence in order to find out the cause of the accident.
好，所以我们看到题目他说 The police 我们要选的是 A, inspector. Inspector 就是检察人员，所以警方的检察人员 quickly 很快的 arrived at the scene 就是到达现场，各位把它背起来 arrived at the scene 就是到达现场，然后呢开始 examine 检视 the evidence 各种证据evidence 不可数的 in order to 目的是要 find out the cause of the accident 要找出事故的原因 find out the cause of the accident 那 B 选项 emperor 是皇帝 C professor 是教授 D mayor 是市长这三个跟 police 放在一起都很奇怪没有这些 collocation 只有 police inspector 所以我们选 A
Number 6. Even though the air conditioning unit in the room broke, the manager decided that the temperature was blank enough for the meeting to continue. Jude was like, it's good enough, let's go on. What's the choice? Which one means good or good enough? Durable, flexible, tolerable, or memorable? Well, C, tolerable. Tolerable means it's okay, we can handle it, let's do it. So choose C. Even though the air conditioning unit in the room broke, the manager decided that the temperature was tolerable enough for the meeting to continue. Everyone was crying, but we did it anyways.
3 had fainted.
Yeah.
2 were on the way to the hospital.
But we got the meeting done. And thank God, because meetings are so hard to get done.
Yeah. 所以这个经理这个不管几个人昏倒了，继续还是要开会。所以这里讲到说，虽然这个 the air conditioning unit 就是空调机 in the room 房间里面空调机 broke 坏掉了，尽管如此呢，那经理决定这个温度呢仍然是 tolerable 这可以忍受的，所以我们选 C 还是 tolerable enough 这个如果对什么事情来讲是 tolerable 后面就 tolerable enough for something to 怎么样，所以他认为这个气温呢还是足以可以忍受的，让这个会议进行下去。好，所以我们选 tolerable。那 A durable 是持久的、耐久的，不对。B flexible 有弹性的、可以变通的。D memorable 是难忘的、值得纪念的。那放在这个句子都讲不通，所以我们选 C tolerable。
Number 7. By exercising the art of blank, Vincent convinced the others to see things from a different perspective, and they ultimately made a decision in his favor. Now, when we say the art of something, it means someone is skillful at something, and Vincent, convinced the others in this group, meeting, whatever, to see things from a different perspective, to see things his way, which may have been a unique or at least very different way of valuing things. And they, the people he convinced, the others, made a decision in his favor. So he was good at talking with people and making them see his point and even agree to what he wanted them to. So is it the art of depression, persuasion, revision, or tension? Well, of course, it has to be B. Persuasion is the noun of persuade. If you persuade someone to do something, you explain why it's a good thing to do or how it will benefit them and so on. The others, I don't see how you have the art of depression. The art of revision, the art of tension would not be an art either. Definitely choose B. By exercising the art of persuasion, Vincent convinced the others to see things from a different perspective, and they ultimately made a decision in his favor.
好 ，exercising 在这里是运用的意思apply 或者是 to make active use of， 所以它运用了。那各位 ，the art of persuasion 是一个很常见的语块就是说服的艺术。所以他运用了他说服别人的这个技术跟艺术呢，他 Vincent convinced 他说服了 the others 说服了其他的人 to 让他们可以 convince the others to 说服了其他人去做这件事情。做什么事呢？ See things from a different perspective 就是角度，所以他让大家都从不同的角度看这件事情。那最后呢 they 就这个其他的人呢 ultimately 就是 at last in the end eventually 最后他们终于 made a decision 做了一个决定 in his favor 是对他有利，所以最后做了一个有利他的决定。好，所以我们要选的是 persuasion。 那 A depression 是沮丧， C revision 修改， D tension 是紧张或者焦虑。好，英文不会说 the art of depression 也不会说 the art of tension 都不对，那这里跟修改也没有关系，所以我们选 B persuasion。
Number 8. To blank a driver's license, you are required to demonstrate your knowledge of traffic laws and your ability to drive safely by passing both a written and a road test. So, to get a driver's license or to score a driver's license, you're required to demonstrate or show that you know what the heck you're doing driving a car. So, which one means show or not show, but get? Preserve, predict, obtain, or offend? Well, if you offend somebody, you're definitely not going to get anything. And preserve just keeps, and predict means you're like, in the future I might get one. But obtain means get, so use obtain. C. To obtain a driver's license, you are required to demonstrate your knowledge of traffic laws and your ability to drive safely by passing both a written and road test.
好，那为了要我们选 C obtain 为了取得驾驶执照 obtain 就是取得，通常是有一定努力之后取得叫 obtain。 为了要取得驾驶执照 a driver's license you are required to 你被要求要能够 demonstrate 显示 your knowledge of traffic laws 你对于交通法规的认识或者知识或者了解，同时你也要展示你要 demonstrate 你的 ability to drive safely 你能够安全驾驶的能力。那你怎么展示呢？ By passing 你要通过 both a written 就是书面的，也就是笔试 a written test 就是书面的笔试，或者是一个 road test 一个路考，所以要通过路考。因此我们选这个 obtain。 那 A preserve 是保存，你还没拿到执照你不用保存，也没得保存。 B predict 是预言。那 D offend 是冒犯，放在这句子都不对。
Okay, number 9. Before making a final decision, Tommy always blank all of the available options carefully and considers the potential consequences of each choice. Now, Tommy is someone who can make very good decisions. At least he is trying to consider all the available options or choices about this decision and also the potential or possible consequences. Those would be the results for each of his choices. Now, do we need A, endures, B, establishes, C, encounters, or D, evaluates? Well, Tommy always thinks beforehand, what is it I'm doing and how could this result in a good or not good conclusion? So he's very careful about when he makes a decision. You don't endure all of the available options. That doesn't work. You don't establish all of the available options either. They're already there. Encounter them, that's an odd way to say it, but evaluates because it means judges. If you judge something beforehand, you think about it. Is this a good thing to do? Is that the right policy? If I do choose it, what will happen? And so on. So judges or evaluates is definitely the answer, D. Before making a final decision, Tommy always blanks all of the available options carefully and considers the potential consequences of each choice.
所以在做最后的决定之前 before making a final decision 好，那 Tommy 他总是会怎么样呢？我们选 D evaluates 就是评估，他会评估 all of the available options， 所有现有的选择就选项，他会看一看我们有什么选项，他会评估所有的选项，而且是 carefully 很仔细的评估。然后呢 considers 他会考虑 the potential consequences of each choice， 每一个选择每一个选项它所潜在的后果， potential 就是潜在的，那这个 consequences 就是后果，所以才会做决定。因此我们选 evaluates。 那 A endures 是忍耐或者忍受，忍耐所有的选项，这个很奇怪。B establishes 是建立，它建立选项啊，这选项不是你建立的，而是有你可以有的选项，所以 B 也不对。C encounters 是遭遇 come upon， 那你说遭遇到选项也很奇怪，都不对，我们选 evaluates 评估所有的 available options。
And number 10, Kelly is blank the most qualified candidate for the job, yet I have my doubts since she has no expertise in the field. Okay, what you need is a new job search because if she's hands down the most qualified candidate for the job, but she isn't hands down the most qualified candidate. Our choices are supposedly, confidentially, beneficially, and deliberately. Now, none of these make sense except for supposedly. And if you say that somebody is supposedly the most qualified candidate, you're already casting doubts on the fact that she maybe isn't. So she's not. And so this person has their doubts. Choose A. Kelly is supposedly the most qualified candidate for the job, and yet I have my doubts since she has no expertise in the field. We need to put the ad out again, guys. Sorry. And we need a different ad this time.
Yeah. 好，所以呢他说 Kelly 是什么 supposedly 就是 believed to be the case， 就应该是了，看起来好像应该是他是最有资格的候选人， the most qualified candidates for the job， 就这个工作他看起来最有资格，可能他学历可能最高了，而且说不定还相关科系毕业的。但是呢他说 I have my doubts， 我有所怀疑，也就是我有保留，我是有点保留的。为什么呢？因为他没有 expertise， 就是专业，这个专业知识或专业能力 in the field， 在这方面是没有，在这个领域没有任何专业知识，所以也许他相关科系毕业的，可是他主修的不是这个东西，甚至于他不懂这个东西，所以我们要选的是 supposedly。 好，那 B confidentially 是私下的或者是很私密的怎么样，这个跟是不是最 qualified 的这个 candidate 没有什么关系。那 beneficially 是有利的， D deliberately 是故意的，所以放在这句子意思都很奇怪，唯一的最好的答案就是 supposedly， 因为 supposedly 本来就是表示应该是这样，但其实可能不是，所以他后面会说 I have my doubts。
Okay, that completes our vocabulary test for the month of July. We'll be back in a couple more days for our final lesson for the month of July. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.